Imagine this. You sign a peace treaty, a moment of hope, only to have it all blown up by an explosion just a few hours later. Well, that is the tense reality right now on the border between Thailand and Cambodia, where a really fragile ceasefire is hanging by a thread.
So, after weeks of intense, often deadly fighting over disputed land, the defense ministers from both countries actually met right at the border. They signed an agreement, and for a moment, it really felt like there was hope, a real pause in the violence that had just been tearing the region apart.
But that calm, well, it didn't last long at all. Just as everyone started to breathe a sigh of relief, the peace was completely shattered, putting that entire agreement in serious jeopardy.
A single explosion. That's all it took to break the quiet. And with that explosion went any of the fragile trust that was so essential for this whole ceasefire thing to work. This one event sent shockwaves through the entire peace process.
Okay, so let's back up for a second and really get into what was at stake here. Why was this ceasefire so incredibly important for both Thailand and Cambodia?
This wasn't just some simple agreement to stop shooting at each other. No, this was a really comprehensive deal. We're talking a complete stop to all military action, a joint effort to clear deadly landmines, and even a prisoner exchange. It was supposed to be a total reset of the relationship.
And when you look at these numbers, it really hits home why that reset was so desperately needed. Just look at the devastating human cost of this conflict. Dozens of civilians killed on both sides, and hundreds of thousands of people forced to flee their homes. This was a massive humanitarian crisis, and honestly, this ceasefire was their only hope.
All right, so now we get to the heart of the problem, the one event that immediately put the whole agreement on life support. Let's take a look at exactly how this peace started to fall apart.
The timing here is just tragic. At noon on a Saturday, the ceasefire officially kicks in. But just a few hours later, a Thai soldier steps on a landmine and is permanently disabled. Then, a little later, a Chinese civilian is also hurt in a separate explosion. The peace was broken before it even had a chance to really begin.
And this quote from a top Thai military official, wow. It just perfectly captures the level of outrage they felt. Thailand immediately saw this not as some tragic accident, but as a deliberate, inhumane act of aggression, a total violation of both the spirit and the letter of the ceasefire.
So as you can probably guess, this incident kicked off a war of words. Two completely different stories started to emerge. So let's break down what each side, Thailand and Cambodia, was claiming.
Okay, so it really boils down to this. Thailand's claim is simple. Cambodia is actively planting new landmines. They see it as a clear act of aggression and a major violation of international law. But Cambodia is saying, no way. They insist these are just old, forgotten mines left over from the country's long and brutal civil war.
So let's dig into the actual evidence presented. Thailand put forward some pretty compelling claims. They said they found newly made mines in areas that were supposed to have been cleared already. They even claimed to have photo and video evidence of Cambodian soldiers with these mines. But Cambodia's response? They dismissed all of it, called for a proper joint investigation, and accused Thailand of just trying to erode trust.
Now, to really get why this is such a huge deal, we need to talk about something called the Ottawa Convention. It's a major international treaty designed to get rid of these horrific weapons for good. And here's the kicker. Both Thailand and Cambodia signed it. They both promised the world they wouldn't use anti-personnel mines. And that's exactly why Thailand's accusation is so serious. It's a claim that Cambodia broke a major international promise.
And here you have Cambodia's official position, stated very clearly. Their National Demining Authority came out with this completely unequivocal denial. They maintain they are absolutely committed to the Ottawa Convention and are not responsible for any new mines showing up on the border.
So with trust completely gone, this whole dispute escalated fast. This wasn't just a border issue anymore. Oh no, this blew up into a major diplomatic incident, and it started playing out on the world stage.
And Thailand, well, they didn't just sit back and complain. They took immediate action. First, they suspended that prisoner exchange. Then they took their case global, presenting their evidence to UN bodies in Geneva and formally demanding answers from Cambodia in New York.
This statement from the Thai defense industry really says it all, doesn't it? The ceasefire was no longer a partnership built on trust. It was now a probation period. Thailand was essentially telling Cambodia, look, you have a very short window of time to prove you're serious about peace, because right now, we just don't believe you are.
And that really leaves us with the fundamental question at the heart of this whole crisis. A ceasefire agreement is ultimately just a piece of paper. Its real power comes from the trust and sincerity of both sides. But when that trust is literally blown up within hours, it makes you wonder, can a broken truce ever really be repaired to build a lasting peace?